Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy at Walden University. And the title of this segment and this article is Understanding the Relationship Between Asthma and Autoimmune Disease. Well, what does this mean in plain words? The idea is that asthma is triggered by some sort of autoimmune attack, specifically immunoglobulin E, which is triggered by some sort of allergic reaction. And this is one that will go into more severe asthma. And then there's that's intrinsic, and then extrinsic is things like stress or extreme temperature. These types of asthma are caused by milder forms, so extrinsic. Even exercise can cause this trigger of asthma. So I told you ahead of time that it's autoimmune. Before we go on, I wanted to tell you about the credibility of Healthline. I've written and given interviews for Healthline. It's a very, very credible article, and the reason being is that a lot of the information is checked by another person. And so here, Dr. Chattamanchi is the one that checked about the pulmonology article. So let's move forward and focus on the areas that are autoimmune. 1 in 13 people have it, both children and adults, and the symptoms that you look for are shortness of breath, chest tightness, and coughing or wheezing. Even though there's no cure for asthma, avoiding some of the triggers can actually, and taking medications can actually help manage to relieve symptoms. Or else, when you have an asthma attack, a lot of times you have to go to the emergency department to get treatment. So it's good to prevent. And what are some other things? In short, so asthma is an autoimmune disease, not exactly, but as we know, some of the pleural, parietal pleura and visceral pleura, when they rub against each other, that causes inflammation. So I'm going to explain to you how it may not be inflammatory, or how it will be. So autoimmune diseases develop when the body's immune system sees healthy tissues, organs, or cells as a threat. The immune system then attacks various parts of the body, which can cause a host of symptoms like joint pain, skin rash, heart issues as a result. So scientists have more than 80 autoimmune diseases: lupus, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis, just to name a few. So it's caused by an immune response. It is not considered an autoimmune disease. Instead, it is a chronic lung disease because it primarily affects the lungs. So chronic lung diseases may begin slowly but get worse with time or without treatment. So like I was saying, pollen, but not only that, some of the common triggers are smoke, cold air, and illness. And the different types of asthma that's available is exercise-induced asthma, allergic asthma, nocturnal asthma, severe asthma, occupational asthma, and seasonal asthma. Now we're going to get into asthma versus autoimmune diseases. Researchers say that both chronic or long-lasting disorders like asthma and autoimmune diseases are a result of immune system abnormalities. So asthma affects the lungs, while autoimmune diseases usually affect many parts of your body. And to a certain degree, this is true. However, any sort of trigger, any sort of autoimmune trigger, can then trigger an autoimmune cascade from asthma. Another inflammatory lung condition was COVID-19 and the cytokine storm, which I've described to you before. So this is a nice table. Asthma versus autoimmune disease. Let's take a look. No cure but can be managed. No cure but can be managed. So these are both the same. Both of them say symptoms caused by triggers like cold air, allergens, viruses. Now, autoimmune disease symptoms caused by immune system attacking healthy cells, tissues, and organs. So it's not secluded to just lungs. So it results from immune system dysfunction, results from immune system dysfunction. So both of them are the same. So as you can see, it's pretty similar. Involves helper T cell response, and involves different helper T cells, an exaggerated T cell response. So one is Th2 and the other is Th1. This primarily affects lungs, and I think this is the biggest important characteristic. And then symptoms can affect multiple parts of the body. So this is where it becomes complicated. But one can make the case that tuberculosis is an autoimmune disease, because when tuberculosis infects the whole lung, the immune system triggers such a strong response that there's cavitations and something called GON complex. If you want to look it up, it's GHON. And if you look at some of those x-rays, you'll be able to see the GON focus and complex. So I urge you to look at that. So can a compromised immune system make your asthma worse? And how to reduce your risks? You can reduce your risk of an attack during an illness by paying attention to your symptoms and taking a preventative inhaler as prescribed. And make sure asthma medications you're taking as prescribed. Talk with your doctor about regular treatments, nebulizer treatments. So asthma can actually weaken your immune system. Researchers actually looked at lung samples via bronchial biopsy from people with asthma and people without asthma. The lungs of people with asthma did not have a strong immune response to the flu when compared with the people who did not have asthma. They're more susceptible to not only contracting flu, but COVID-19 is still a threat, and to perhaps have more severe outcomes than individuals that don't have asthma. So lung function, lung inflammation never is good. Lung inflammation causes many types of side effects, and one of the things that should be used is corticosteroid medication along with asthma inhalers to try to prevent this. So is asthma technically an autoimmune disease? It's kind of teetering on the fence on that. So even though it's not a technical autoimmune disease, it is a chronic lung disease condition that can have serious health effects if not managed and treated properly. That sums up what's in this article and has any sort of relevance. Thank you for listening.